That day, if my husband had not called 911 and I was home alone, I would not have called 911.
It affected everyone around me.
It was very overwhelming for me. Very overwhelming.
My name is Stephanie Ogden-Preston. In my day job, I am a COO, and I'm living with a pacemaker.
My name is Caroline Goggin. I am 27 years old. I am a news reporter for Channel 12 in East Providence, and in October of 2019, I suffered and survived a stroke.
My name is Diane Doherty. I work for a large property and casualty insurance company. I have been married for 27 and a half years to my middle school sweetheart, and I am a heart attack survivor. We had gone on the 4th of July to a country concert. I went to bed, and at about 2:30 in the morning, I woke up with what I thought was massive indigestion. My husband asked me, he's like, "You all right?" He says, "There's something, you don't seem quite right." I'm like, "Well, now that you mention it," I say, "I feel this really weird tightness across my chest and my upper back, and, my jaw's starting to feel kind of funny." And he said, "Get in the car. You need to go. I'm serious. Let's go." He says, "Don't make me call 911. He drove me in. The nurse immediately hooked me up to an EKG. She took blood work. A doctor came in and told my husband, "Your wife is having a cardiac event." And I can hear all this going on. I'm like, they can't possibly be talking about me. I can't be having a heart attack.
I went out for a morning run, but when I came home, I felt so lightheaded that I had to lay down. It quickly passed and I went to work. The dizziness happened 3 more times in that morning. My right-hand person basically looked at my calendar and was like, "Why don't you just go to the wellness center?" We're in there and he is doing his diagnosis, just asking me questions about what happened. And I said, "I can feel my heart fluttering." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, every minute or so, I can feel it actually pumping." So he gets the EKG and my heart is pumping 300 beats per minute. And for context, normal is 60 to 80 beats per minute.
My husband brought me coffee in bed like he does every morning. We had just gotten married 3 weeks prior, so we were in the happiest stage of our lives. It was normal. Everything was fine. And then it was around 11:30 that morning. I was taking a pan from the stove and I bent down and I got super dizzy. I stood back up, and as I'm standing back up and I'm talking to him, I'm realizing I'm not talking, that my speech was completely slurred. He saw that my left side of my face was drooped. So that's when he called 911. The first responders showed up. I'm thinking, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not having a stroke.
He called the ambulance and said, "You have to go to the hospital." I said, "Absolutely not. Prove to me that I have to go to the emergency room." So he drew a picture of my heart and basically described to me the bottom chamber was on overdrive and we had to actually kick your heart back to functioning the correct way. So I'm like, well, that makes sense. I'll go to the hospital. Ambulance comes and again, folks are, hook me up and are looking me in my eyes. They could not believe that I was fully functioning with this 300 beats per minute going on. I stay there for about 4 days, and every day something different happens. And on the final day, I got a pacemaker.
My cardiologist came into my hospital room and said, "Yeah, we've found 3 partial blockages. We're going to put a stent in to open up that artery for you."
We were taken to the hospital, and I immediately, within a few minutes of getting there, was taken into MRI. The doctor came in, and I popped up, and he said, "Hey, hon, I just talked to your husband. He knows you have had a stroke, and we need to get you into CT right now. We need to make sure your carotid arteries are not compromised." I so vividly remember laying back down and just staring up at the ceiling and thinking, I'm so scared.
I was like, when am I getting back to work?
The first question out of my mouth when they told me you're having a cardiac event was, what am I going to do about work?
So all these questions are running through my mind. And then I think, I'm a news reporter for a living. Am I going to be able to do this anymore?
All of us here are extremely happy, and the Caroline is back, and that she's feeling much better. We missed you.
I missed you guys so much. It feels so good to be back. I did share some news on social media throughout the last couple weeks, but for those of you at home who don't know, I haven't been here for about 5 weeks because the morning of October 8th, I actually suffered a stroke at home. Luckily, my husband recognized the signs right away. We got to the hospital. And the good news is my recovery is going so well. I feel fantastic. It just feels so good to be back. I missed you guys.
I feel very, very lucky that, what happened to me, I was able to live through it.
I allowed for health to ratchet up in the priority listing, and I'm, sitting here today because I listened.
I'm only 3 months out. Today marks 100 days since I had my stroke, and I feel like I am the strongest that I've ever been in my life.
I've joined a gym, I've learned some strength training. I always set aside at least an hour a day of me time.
With women especially, we go, 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 go. We're so used to taking care of everyone else but ourselves. Sometimes you just need to step back and breathe.
Work is always going to be there. You need to take care of you. I think that's a very important message for women to understand.
Every day, you get a little bit stronger and you get back to who you were before this. So to know that you're not alone is a nice thing that the American Heart Association provides, and it would be nice if people moving forward have that opportunity as well.
I think it's important to give back to the American Heart Association to continue the research that's needed.
Helping the American Heart Association also provides education. As women, we are affected differently. So I think that awareness really needs to get out there.
Please join us in being a relentless force to take a stand for women's brain and heart health.